What's up, guys? Welcome to Film Trash. I thought it would be fun to sit down and talk about my top 10 favorite movies from 2022. However, as I was sitting down and making the list, I realized that I only actually watched 11 movies that came out in 2022. And of those 11 movies, 2 of them were so incredibly bad that I just cannot put them on my list. The other 9, however, I enjoyed to some extent or another. So this is actually going to be my top 9 favorite movies from 2022. And I'm going to start off the list with number 9, Crimes of the Future. I love David Cronenberg. I think he's a great filmmaker. And this was a good film. It was enjoyable, but it wasn't quite what I expect from a Cronenberg film. It just wasn't quite as good as any of his other films, in my opinion. Also, I feel like some of the CGI was kind of a letdown. For it being, a 2022 film. I kind of expected something a little bit better from such a big name director, but either way, it was still an enjoyable movie. I liked it, just not as much as any of the other films on this list. So, alright, next up is number 8, the Bob's Burgers movie. I love Bob's Burgers. It's a really fun show. I really enjoyed the movie as well. I did feel like it was just kind of a longer episode. It's all it really felt like. It didn't feel like anything super special apart from the show, but it was still very fun, very enjoyable. Next up is number 7, X. I'm becoming a big fan of Ty West, and I really enjoyed X. It was a great kind of throwback slasher horror movie with a little bit different idea of the killers. Instead of it being, like your typical nameless, faceless slasher. It was, something a little bit different, so that was really nice. However, my only problem with the movie is really just that there was nothing super new or spectacular about it. It wasn't, anything we haven't seen before, so still a really great movie, and I still recommend it. I haven't checked out Pearl yet, but I'm hoping to do that soon. Alright, so number 6 on my list is Barbarian. This one was also a really good horror movie. I really liked that it was a bit more original in its plot. It's something I've never really seen before. It was a fun movie, and it was definitely not what I expected when I originally watched the trailer. So I thought it was going to be, a creepy guy in a Airbnb and doing stuff. But Bill Skarsgård was great. I love him, and I wish he would have been in more of the movie. Instead, we got, Justin Long, which I like Justin Long too. I really love Bill Skarsgård, so I was hoping he was going to be in a little bit more of the movie. But otherwise, yeah, great film. I highly recommend it. Alright, so next up, guys, is number 5, Hellraiser. This was one that I was pretty excited about. The trailers I saw for it looked really cool. I had heard great things about it, and so I went into it with high expectations. And I was not let down. It was a really good horror movie, a really great sort of new adaptation or reimagining of the Hellraiser franchise. It doesn't have anything to do with the original movies or any of the other sequels. It's kind of its own thing, and I think they did a really great job with it. I've never actually read The Hellbound Heart or any of the stuff relating to Hellraiser. I just don't really read that often. I don't really find that much time for it. I hardly have enough time to watch movies. I mean, I only watched 11 movies that came out this year. So, like I said, it's just hard for me to find time to read. So I can't compare it to the source material, but from what I've heard from other people, it's really great. The movie on its own is fantastic, and I highly recommend it. Alright, number 4 is Nope from Jordan Peele. I'm a big Jordan Peele fan. I love everything he does. I feel like he can't do any wrong. And Nope is no exception. Of his 3 films that he's directed, I will say that Nope is probably my least favorite of the 3, but it is still a fantastic movie. I highly recommend it. It's not quite a horror movie like I thought it was going to be. It's a little bit more sci-fi thriller kind of movie. The first half of the movie kind of feels like a horror movie, but then into the second half, it kind of becomes a little bit less scary in my opinion. But it's still a great movie. I really like the themes that he had going in it. All of his movies are just very artistic, and they always have something to say. And I just think he is a fantastic filmmaker. Even the movies that he doesn't direct, but just produces or helps write. The Candyman reboot was amazing. I love Jordan Peele. All right, and that brings us to number 3, The Northmen. Once again, a director that I absolutely love. Robert Eggers is incredible. Once again, probably my least favorite of his 3 films. I mean, it's kind of a toss-up. I'm a huge fan of The Lighthouse. It is such an amazing film, and The Witch and The Northman both are really great too. I would have a hard time actually picking between the two, I think. But The Northman is really fantastic. It's not like a horror movie like the last 2 were a little bit more horror movies. This is just more of a historical epic, and it was really great. Fantastic fight scenes. Alexander Skarsgård was amazing. Once again, highly recommended. Alright, that brings us to number 2 on my list. This one was a little bit tough because these last 2 are both amazing films. It's really hard to pick which one I like more, but for number 2 I picked Everything Everywhere All at Once. Fantastic film. It is so much fun. It has such an interesting and unique plot. Nothing I've ever seen before. Everything about the movie is perfect. It's got great dialogue, great scenes, great action. I mean, you just can't go wrong with it. I think it's a great movie for pretty much anybody to watch. I really feel like there's something in this movie for everybody. And once again, made by some great directors, the Daniels. I was also a big fan of their film Swiss Army Man with Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. So what can I say? There's just so many great directors on this list. I'm really excited to see what these guys come up with next because they always have just really unique movie ideas. All right, that brings us to number 1, The Banshees of Inisherin. I absolutely love this movie. The dialogue and acting are so good. The story is just weird, but so amazing. It's such an interesting story, too. It's meant to be sort of an allegory for Ireland in the 1920s during the Irish Civil War. The whole story is kind of about how people one day would be friends, and then the next day all of a sudden they're rivals because of politics, and they just suddenly hate each other. I think the way the director Martin McDonagh showed that is amazing. It's kind of a depressing film, but it's got like just the right amount of comedy, and I couldn't imagine a better script. Absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10. I highly recommend it. I do feel like it's the kind of movie that isn't quite as friendly for most people to watch. Like Everything Everywhere All at Once is something that I feel like anybody could watch and enjoy. This one is a little bit different just because, it is a little bit slower, a little bit depressing at times. I still highly recommend it. So that's it, guys. That is my top 9 of 2022. I'm looking forward to trying to watch more movies this year so I can have a better list. Hopefully at the end of the year I'll have not only a top 10 list, but maybe even a top 10 worst movies of the year if I get a chance to see enough movies. We'll see what happens. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And if you guys are looking forward to it too, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons. You can also check the link in the description below to pick up some Film Trash merch. Check out my other social media platforms. I really appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys next time.
I just don't like you no more.
You do like me.
I don't.
You liked me yesterday.